Hello, it's Yvonne from the Fabric Hut. Welcome to my sewing room. Today we are going to work on quarter square triangles. Now we have made half square triangles a couple of different ways. We've made flying geese, we've made all sorts of things. But today we're going to make quarter square triangles that you can make with 2 colors or 4 colors. So join me at my sewing machine and let's get going. So quarter square triangles we can make out of 4 different colors. When you use 4 different colors, you're going to end up with 4 blocks. I'm going to do it both ways. This one is just 2 colors. I'll end up with 2 blocks. So you're going to get the number of blocks as the number of pieces of fabric you put into it. So let's start with just the 2 because it's just a very good place to start. So you're going to start by layering them right sides together and drawing a diagonal. That ruler's not long enough. Let me get a longer one. There it is. We're going to draw a diagonal one direction on this fabric. Depending on what marking pen you're using, I'm using a heat erase, so there's no sense in drawing my second line because it's going to go away when I press it. So I just keep things handy to remark them later. And now we are going to sew 1/4 inch on each side of this line. Okay, now I have my foot on with the guide this time. I'm going to show you how you can use that. You have to be very careful because it wants to move the fabric with this little guide, but it also is really nice because it gives you an accurate marking for that seam. Now, my machine just gave me a little knot there, so I'm going to take it out and start over. I don't know why it wanted to do that. It's morning. Maybe it's just as cranky about being up as I am. I don't know. No, I'm not cranky today. I love when I can come up and just come out into my sewing room first thing. Okay, now I'm also lining this guide up to this side of the line when I'm sewing on this side. That gives me that little bit of extra to do my pressing with. So let's try this again, see if it takes. There it goes. And see how I'm keeping it just to this side of the line. And I'm going to just sew all the way up one side. And now if I were making a bunch of them, I would chain piece the next one in. But in this case, I'm just making this one set. Okay, and now I'm still going to put the guide on this side, but I'm sewing on this side. Does that make sense? That just gives me that little bit of wiggle room. Now, typically, when you're doing this also, you are using a little bit of oversized blocks, and then you'll trim them down. I am using a charm pack. I'm using the Urban Liberties charm pack here and a white on white. See that? Okay, so now we need to cut on this line. You can use scissors or you can use your rotary cutter, whichever way you choose to do it. I love my rotary cutter with my titanium blade. It just makes it so smooth. Okay. I was having trouble getting through even with my titanium blade because of my camera position. I wasn't putting my the right pressure in the right angle, so I've moved my camera position today. I hope it works. Let me know if not. Okay, this is a bias right here. So we have to be sure that we don't stretch it as we're pressing. So give it a little press down to set that seam. Catch the corner of your iron in the seam and go the direction of the fabric. I know I say that every time, but it's so, so important. If you go this way, you have the tendency to stretch this, and then you're going to have a wonky block. And nobody likes wonky blocks. Set my seam. You know, you may have noticed that I don't always set my seams, but I always do if I'm doing a bias because it's so much more important on a bias. Okay, catch that open and just go up and up that seam. There we go. Okay, so now I'm not doing any trimming yet. I have two seams here, or two blocks. What I want to do is I want to flip this one to where the blue is on the white and the white is on the blue. So they are opposite. And because I press towards the blue on both of them, they are going to nest perfectly together. And you can just use your fingers to get them nesting right in there. See what I mean? How they just line up perfectly there? Okay, now we're going to go back with our ruler, wherever I set it right there. And we're going to draw another line diagonally. It is going to go the opposite direction of this seam. So we're going to go right here and just draw that line. I'm using a darker pen than I normally would because I want you to be able to see it. I would normally just use a real light one, but I want you to see what I'm doing very well. I could be using contrasting thread too, but I think you can understand a seam without having to see a contrasting thread. Again, I'm just sewing right up with my guide on this side to sew on this side. And we go right up that side. Okay. And one more. And we will cut them apart. Now this time I'm just going to use my scissors right here just to show you that you can do it either way, and just cut right up that center like that. And there we go. Now look what happens when we open this out. Ta-da! We have a perfect quarter square block. Now, this is bulky right here because we have a lot of seams coming together. So one of the things you can do is you can spin these seams. So what I mean by that is, if you see how this one is naturally coming this way because it's on this side of the join, you can just put your thumbs right there by the join, give it a little twist. And see how that just opens it up like that? Now all of your seams are going around and you aren't going to have any bulk here in the middle. Let's do that again with this one. So this seam is wanting to go that way. This one wants to go this way. We're going to just flip it open. And I'm just finger pressing this out on each side until I get my pressing mat up here. And now because I finger press it, I can just lay it down and I just feel that it's in the right place. Now, if you look, all these seams are going this way. Okay? They're all, well, now that I've turned it over, they're going the other way, but they're all going in a circle to where you can just put your iron down, feel which way they're going, and just follow that circle all the way around, just like that. Okay? And look at there, you have a cute little 4-patch in the back, and everybody is perfect. Do that again. Make sure that's flat. On this one, the circle is going this way. They're opposite because they are the opposite sides of that block. And there you go. 2 quarter square triangles. Just like that. Look how cute those would be sewn together and make a block or a border. That's a really fun border to do. Okay. Then you would need to trim them down if they're not the right size. Right now they are, starting with a charm square, they are 4.5. So if 4.5 is exactly what you want, you just go through and trim off those corners. Just like that. And there's your perfect 4.5-inch block right there. Now let's say you didn't want a 4.5, you wanted a 3.5. Well, that's still doable. Let's put up my cutting mat here just so you can see. I'm not going to actually cut them because I might use them this way. Okay, so here we go. We have our square. This is our point in the middle. So if we want a 3.5, the center point is going to be 1 3/4 because that's half of 3.5. So I'm going to find the 1 3/4 on my ruler. Get it over here. Turn it right side up so you can see the numbers. 1 3/4 would be this little point right here. Nope, right up here. This is the 2-inch, so 1 3/4 is going to be up there. So you are going to put your ruler on that 1 3/4 and see how I've got the line right up there. Well, this one is a yellow ruler. Let me get a black one so you can see better. Okay, let's do this again. 1 3/4 is right here. 1 3/4. Let me see. There we go. 1 3/4. So it's going to bring us to 3.5. This line is even. This one point is coming right to the 3.5 point right there. See that? And you're going to trim 2 sides. Then you're going to turn it around and you'll just line it up at the 3.5 and you'll have your 3.5-inch squares. Okay, so let's do it with 4 colors and see what happens, because this changes things up just a little bit. Okay, so I have 4 colors. We're going to use this technique this week in our classic block too. So, okay, and just pair them up however you want, whatever order you want. I'm going to just put these 2 together. You know, some patterns it makes a difference. Because this is a sample, it's not going to make a difference to me. And I'm going to put this one together. And we're going to start again at drawing our line diagonally. I don't know why I'm having a hard time keeping track of my rulers today. No, because I'm stacking them on top of each other and they disappear. Okay, here we go. We're going to go just right down that side on both of these. Okay. Now, like I say, this is going to make 4 of these quarter square triangle blocks. Again, we're going to just put it in. We're going to use that guide and go right up this side. Now, since I have more than one block, I can chain piece right here. If you have the ability to set your foot so it raises a little bit every time you stop sewing, definitely do that because it's so convenient for chain piecing. Okay. Now, because I'm chain piecing, I'm not going to break my thread there. I'm going to reach around. I'm going to grab this one and snip it and turn it around and do this side. So these don't take very long to make, but they're very, very fun to use in your quilt. Okay, flip this one and the last one of this step. There we go. And I'm going to cut those apart now. Okay, sorry, I just had to take a drink of coffee. It is allergy season here in Oregon. I don't have many allergies, but when they hit, so that's why I sound nasally and how come I have a cough so often. Okay, here we go. We're going to just cut them apart. Well, probably would have been easier to do with my rotary cutter because I'm struggling a little today with my scissor work. No, some days. Okay, here we go. Now we're doing it. Okay, so I have all 4 pieces. I need to press them. I'm going to just take one of each because I don't need all 4 right now. And I am going to press them. I'm going to look at these and I'm going to see that these are the 2 darker ones. So I'm going to press towards the 2 darker ones. Set your seam because it's a bias. And put your point in there and go straight up and realign. There we go. Got a little bit of, I could feel that it wasn't laying quite flat. I had that hidden back a little bit. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now again, we are going to layer these so that this seam lines up. Now, both of these are pressed to the high side. So here's our little mountain of a seam. This is the downhill side and the uphill side. So I'm going to put the uphill sides together so that they nest perfectly. See how that just fits together and nests now? Again, these are just charm packs. These are the Fizzy Pop collection that I've been using off and on. I love it. It's just so modern and cheery. Okay, we've got them put together, and now we're going to draw a line. See if I can do it on my pressing mat. There we go. Okay, and you guys know the drill. We're just going to sew down them again on each side, and this is going to give us 2 of them, but there's going to be something just a little bit different about these guys. When you're using 4 colors, they are going to rearrange the order just a little bit on every other one of them because they are opposites. So if you need them to be exactly the same, you need to sew all 4 of them, and you will have 2 the same and 2 opposite. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Give it a quick cut here. There we go. Oh, look at my scissor work. It's getting better. Okay. Bring it up here. And we're going to press this out. Now, when you look at this block, you have pink, green, blue, pink. Okay? Now let's press this one out. Oh, you know what? I didn't spin my seams, did I? Oh, my bad. Okay, spin that seam. That'll make it lay flatter. Got myself in a little bit of a hurry there. Thankfully, pressing is something you can redo and get it right. Do that a little final press, a little longer than normal because of that. Okay. And this is the only one that we have to fix right here. Everything else is in the right order, just this 1/4. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to put them up here. You've got the pink, you've got the green. See how they're going in opposite directions? So that is important. If you need them to be exactly the same, you're going to want to make twice as many as you need. You would finish off these guys, and one would look like this, and one would look like this. So it would still work, but aren't they lovely? I just think it's lovely. Now, when you're pairing them up and matching that seam, look how nicely that little point matches there in the center. It's all just wonderful. There's our turnover. So, half square triangles, so much fun to make. Join me on Thursday with the classic block, and I'm going to show you how to use this in a classic block. Happy sewing!